Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Swastika, and today we would be going through the current affairs for August 7th, 8th, 9th, 2020. So before we begin, I would just like to tell you a little about myself. I have done my masters in political science from Jawaharlal Nehru University. I have done my BA honors in political science from Delhi University, and in case you like my content, please don't forget to press the subscribe button. That's the red button at the bottom of the video screen. Also, if you have any doubts, I would request you to please note them down in the comment section so I can have a look at them. As usual, we would be going through the normal format of first discussing the short news. So this is relevant from the perspective of answering objective questions, and the second thing that we would be discussing is the editorial page, and this is relevant from the perspective of answering subjective questions. So without any further ado, let's begin. So this piece of news was basically collected by me from an article from an editorial page article in the Hindu. So this basically states that India ranked 102nd on the global hunger index despite having high food production. Nutritional security requires measures to improve protein and vitamin deficiencies. So this is prepared by Concern Worldwide, which is an Irish agency, and the World Hunger Hilfe, which is a German organization. The UN University paper, Precarity and the Pandemic, which was released in June 2020, claims that 400 million workers are at a risk of slipping into extreme poverty because they're earning less than $1.90 per day. Indian Railways is going to begin a Kisan Rail, and this is going to run from Devlali, this is in Maharashtra, to Danapur, which is in Bihar. This train is going to help us in bringing perishable agricultural produce like vegetables and fruits. So when you want to remember this, you just have to remember that the train is called Kisan Rail. Obviously, किसान है तो एग्रीकल्चर से कुछ रिलेटेड है, फार्मर से कुछ रिलेटेड है, तो इसका जो बेसिक काम है वो है फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स को शॉर्ट टाइम में देवलाली महाराष्ट्र में से दानापुर बिहार को पहुंचाना. So that's how you remember it. In the next piece of news, we see that Telangana Forest Department has exposed the rampant poaching of pangolins in the forests in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So pangolins are basically endangered. Endangered. The Indian pangolin, according to the IUCN red list, and the Chinese pangolin is basically critically endangered. So the pangolin has been in news because of coronavirus. There were claims that maybe coronavirus spread from the pangolins. So the Chinese have traditionally used the pangolin scales for making traditional medicines. So what happened here in India was that 3 to 4 kilograms of pangolin scales were seized from the gang, in which 3 to 5 animals might have been killed. So both of these species, which is the Indian pangolin and the Chinese pangolin, are listed under Schedule 1, Part 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Maharashtra is the first Indian state to declare state mangrove tree as the symbol of conservation. Maharashtra State Board for Wildlife cleared a proposal to declare Sonataria alba as the state mangrove tree and approved a recovery program for Arabian Sea humpback whale. So you can just keep this in mind, that mangrove trees, conservation, Maharashtra, Arabian Sea humpback whale. So that's how you can remember it. So the Delhi government has launched an electric vehicle policy. Obviously, this is in context of the increasing pollution that densely populated states like Delhi have to go through every year, and in order to decrease the pollution, the electric vehicle policy has been launched, which is going to ensure that 25% of the newly registered vehicles in Delhi by the year 2024 are e-vehicles. So they're basically supposed to be electric vehicles by 2024. According to a study by Traffic India, so Traffic India is basically a non-governmental organization which was launched in 1976, and it basically looks at developing sustainably and wildlife management. So out of the total 747 leopard deaths between 2015 and 19 in India, 596 were linked to illegal wildlife trade and activities related to poaching. So the leopard poaching is highest in Uttarakhand and Maharashtra. So this is just some information you can keep in mind. It's not like very important. Okay, so short news. We also see that major general talks were held at Dipsang, which is a patrolling point. So basically, we have a certain number of patrolling points in when we discuss the clash that has recently happened between India and China. So in the Psang sector, there are patrolling points from 10 to 13, which means 10, 11, 12, 13 in the Psang sector are basically patrolling points. Patrolling point 14 in Galwan and patrolling point 15 in Hot Spring, 17 and 17A in Gogra are currently being disputed by both sides, where the standoffs have taken place in the past 9 weeks. So the areas in discussion are Galwan, Gogra Hot Springs, finger area of Pangang So, and yeah, that's it. So what are these patrolling points essentially? So this is how it was defined in an article in Indian Express. So patrolling points are identified and marked on the line of actual control, which are patrolled with a stipulated frequency by the security forces. This serve as a guide to the location of the line of actual control for the soldiers, acting as indicators of the extent of actual control exercised on the territory by India. By regularly patrolling up to these PPs, the Indian side is able to establish and assert its physical claim about the LAC. So you just have to keep in mind that this is what we mean by patrolling point, where the forces are basically patrolling and they want to establish and assert their physical claim. So they're with a stipulated frequency, the security forces are basically patrolling. Right. So the next thing that we are going to discuss is the editorial page. So India and Pakistan has recently been in the news because of two things. The first thing that we are going to discuss is Pakistan's new political map. So as we know, Pakistan is claiming all this area and is also claiming Junagadh in Gujarat, and is also claiming Sir Creek, which is basically this creek. Please follow my uh, pen. This is basically Sur Creek here, which lies between Sindh and Pakistan, and Rann of Kutch in Gujarat. So this is this tiny creek here, which Pakistan is saying belongs to us. Pakistan is also saying that Siachen Glacier belongs to us, and they're like super into that entire idea that we are going to expand. So basically, they are doing this because they want to, you know, provocate India. Why they want to do this is probably because they're trying to retaliate, since India has abrogated Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. So they're saying that Jammu and Kashmir belongs to us, Siachen Glacier belongs to us, Junagadh and Gujarat also belongs to us, Sir Creek also belongs to us. So the second reason why India and Pakistan has been in the news is because of the fishermen. So as you can see, Sir Creek is this tiny creek right here between Sindh and Rann of Kutch, and this invisible water boundary is occasionally crossed over by fishermen who are seeking produce over there, and when they do so, they mostly cross over as an act of innocence. But whenever they do so, the other side, Pakistan, makes sure that they keep them as prisoners. So this is something which is problematic because this disturbs the livelihood, this hampers the livelihood of all the women who are dependent on the fishermen for the daily produce, and it's mostly and always an act of innocence that they accidentally cross over because of the invisible water boundaries. So you have to keep that in mind. So we've already discussed the two reasons why. One is the new map and the second is the fishermen dispute. So these are the exact numbers. As per the list of prisoners exchanged between India and Pakistan, 270 fishermen and 54 civilian prisoners are Pakistan's prisons. Likewise, India has 97 Pakistani fishermen and 265 civilian prisoners in its jails. So this is a little information on Sir Creek. It was in news, so I thought why not, let's put it up. So India claims that the boundary lies mid-channel according to the international law and the Thalweg principle. while Pakistan claims that the boundary lies to the east of the creek. So this is the dispute that we have. So the Tharvik principle states that the river boundaries between the two countries may be divided by the mid-channel if the water is navigable. Thank you for listening to me, guys. In case you like my content, please don't forget to press the subscribe button. You can comment your doubts down below, and you can also connect with me on Instagram. Thank you.